What's happening, my beautiful people? My name is LaBelle. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today, it just seems fitting, seems right that we talk about formations and we update you on the top 5 formations in FIFA 21 currently, because it has shifted dramatically with all the player improvements, team of the season, gameplay changes and patches and updates. We've seen new meta, new adjustments, new necessities. First off, comment below. What formation or formations are you currently playing? Do not leave me hanging. And if you disagree with these 5, perfect! Use the comments. That's an outlet. That's a discussion board. We're not sensitive here. If you haven't liked it, subscribed it, notified it, bell rang all day. I don't know why I'm staring at the hand as if we're going into the WWE. Yes, the energy is gonna come in at a high frequency. And I sort of feel as if my voice is still recovering. We're talking too much, too often, on a daily basis. Let's get started. 4, 2, 3, 1. A staple formation returns, but this time with a twist. I'm not talking about Oliver. And I think I'm gonna run these up with some pros and some cons when you're digging into these formations. Should help you make a choice as to what you're looking to incorporate. And if you want tactical breakdowns and different types of instructions and just key attributes and characteristics to go or coincide with these formations, like the video or get in the comments. Also, if you feel as you've been killing the game with one of these 5, by all means, share those tactics. Help our community. Defense wins championships. I believe in this cliche. That's where the 4-2-3-1 gives you a certain level of balance and confidence when defending. This formation, the major drawback for the majority of the year has been offensive creativity, or the nuisance or almost a disclaimer that you're gonna have offensive challenges. That's no longer the case. Because of all these upgraded players, your creativity, dynamic play, innovative nature, you can just be more expressive. It's that simple. You're putting jam on both sides of the toast, and you also have width. That means you have easier outlets. It's always been on the forefront, something that's mentioned with the 4-2-3-1. Does not shift today. As for some of the negatives, you're limited on quick build-up play. You don't have 2 strikers, so you don't get a down central. You're not going to Central Park or Times Square, and you're also not going to play a lot of tiki-taka. You can control your build-up. You can, without a doubt, have an offensive approach, but if you want to play very fast and direct, quick hitting, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, ping pong, this is not necessarily going to be the formation for you. Also, your counter-attacking options centrally, you only got that singular striker. He's out there on an island. Now down the wings, it's available, open for business. 5-3-2. I might dislike this formation, but I'm objective and I'm talking about effectiveness. I strongly have a distaste. It's not part of my palate, but you've got outlets, overwhelming runs. This is the name of the game for park positioning. If you play Monopoly, pass and go, picking up Park Place. I cannot remember the other Monopoly property that I'd always be trading for next to Park Place if someone would like to help me out. But bus drivers are welcome. They are encouraged. Players pack it in, and then this formation gives you a lot of counter-attacking options and instant options, especially with that additional width. I'd even go on record saying this is perhaps the most noob-friendly formation. If you're trying to go from silver to gold, or even gold to elite, and you're not necessarily getting better at the game, but you have the squad, and you're tactically aware and set up properly with a 5 at the back, you got options. I'm not proud about putting that in a video. I want to reiterate that I'm not co-signing this usage rate, but at the same time, we are unbiased unless we're being extra biased. And I'm not gonna disregard a formation that I know is popular. I see it used regularly. And at the end of the day, there is no denying its effectiveness. As for some cons, your reputation might take a hit, slightly damaged. You're a little limited internally with the build-up play, especially if it's not happening fast. Those midfielders can look rather flat. And also you can be kind of predictable. When I go up against players that are using the 5 at the backs, they have to use those wingers. 4-4-2. And I'm actually going to discuss both variations. I don't feel that we should separate them. So you have the standard flat 4-4-2, which has been my go-to formation for more than half the year. But I have experienced a bit of a shift. Just with the way that gameplay has redirected, has adjusted. If I'm going to have this high frequency, this wild free form, this havoc, rage-inducing, stylistic approach, I think there's better formations for that. So we have the 4-4-2 standard, and then even in the competitive side of everything that's been happening, the 4-4-2, the second variation, with the holding mids. Seen these used more than ever. Now with both of these formations, you get versatility. Offensively, or if you want to play balanced, or you want to play defensive, just depending on your tactical setup, the players, the personnel, your instructions, you can do that. You can achieve it. Also a fantastic formation for through balls. And we know how ridiculous, in fact, let's make up a new word, redonkulous, through balls are this year. The auto adjustment, the way that they lock on, how they find strikers and oncoming attackers, you name it. And then the combination or the partnership between those center mids and those strikers for a lot of the opening of a space, especially down central, down 5th Ave, 6th Ave. Those are major avenues in New York City that are in the middle of the city. Not sure if it's a great reference point for this video, very specific to where I live. Now the major con for me and why I stopped using this formation so regularly was I could no longer control the midfield. I was having a lot of issues with spacing, and as previously mentioned or stated, if I was gonna play reckless and wild and extremely high level of aggression, I'm angry before the game even gets started, I just felt there's better formations for yours truly for executing that type of style. We're going with the fast build up, the offside traps, the high pressure, the double teams, the micromanaging. That ended up being my con with this formation. Even though I see it used all the time throughout the weekend and at the competitive level, it is still one of those top tier formations. But that's where I had to make some sort of change so I could still have my level or my degree of expression. 4-3-1-2, my new baby, my new girlfriend. Definitely a formation I am well associated with. We've been on a few dates. These are all references towards the weekend league, sort of. And with the 4-3-1-2, the build up, the attack, the opening of space, the opening of doors, the fluidity, the frequency, the movement, spectacular. You will need to use those fullbacks. That is an early disclaimer. They've got to be overlapping. If they're not, you lose the width. And if you lose the width, it definitely hinders your attack and your creativity and your ability to overwhelm someone. This formation can be terrifying. We're talking extra explosive, true dynamic and prolific capabilities. If you want to disrupt someone's game plan, this will do that. Or this right here. Yes, you. Now, as for the cons, I feel as if I'm talking to the formation at this point. You can only play at one speed, one pace. There's no hold the ball in a 4-3-1-2. Or I haven't been able to figure out how that works. I got to switch into something else if I want that type of approach. Also, in the news, the formation news, you will be open for counterattacks, especially down the wings, because everybody has been pushing forward. If you get caught out, it will be noticed. I play a lot of high scoring affairs in this formation, which I personally am enjoying. But I want to make sure that that is communicated, that we have that conversation. That's part of the narrative. It's not all mashed potatoes and gravy or direct flights. Sometimes you're gonna have some hiccups, some stops along the way. And I'd like to reiterate, fullbacks must be involved. If you are not going to have them overlapping or pushing forward, this formation looks, feels, plays so differently. So at times you're gonna look as if you only have those two center backs defensively. Can get kind of crazy. It's a Narnia formation. You've got a 2-5-3 in theory. Last but not least, 4-1-2-1-2, second variation, another staple formation that has never been better. At this point of FIFA 21, this formation is maxed out. It's been at its best from a potential standpoint, at least in my opinion. And that's just with the game, how it's adjusted. Unlike the 4-3-1-2, where you maybe have some more limitations with the midfield, you have better balance and spacing. It's more layered. We're putting together some sort of FIFA cake. When you're looking at all these triangles, geometry class, up front, in the midfield, you have a true holding mid. For many, this is a better variation or a more natural or organic variation of the 4-3-1-2 in terms of creating balance and also a little more structure. Though it's extremely offensive and can be and should be, with those fullbacks still getting forward, you have more coverage. You are better insured with the 4-1-2-1-2. I believe more people will naturally communicate or be able to attach to this formation. Now, it's extremely subjective, and there are many similarities between the 4-3-1-2 and the 4-1-2-1-2. But just like fashion, You get in where you fit in. You wear what makes you feel right, makes you feel confident, makes you feel good about yourself. You like the fit, that association, little individuality. It's the same for both of these formations. The con with you using those fullbacks, there is space in behind. You can let me know how you feel in the comments. These are the 5 formations, technically sort of 6 formations if you look at the 4-4-2 and the 2 different variations. I just didn't feel that it was right to make that separation. But if you watch some of my earlier videos talking about formations this year, this is a significant shift. We have multiple formations that have come on stronger late game, mainly because of the players being upgraded and then the patches and the changes and the adjustments and the meta slightly shifting on the importance. Early on in FIFA 21, the whole wingback or fullback inclusion was not necessarily as important. It wasn't stressed. We weren't making videos about running down the wings or whipping in crosses or having these aggressive outlets or being able to stretch your opposition. The wing play was kind of suspect. Not anymore. But I have a lot more content coming out here daily, ASAP.